If you don't already have the National Life Group portal for agents saved to an instant touch, a bookmark, a favorite on your phone, on your iPad, I would recommend it, right? Because all I gotta do is just press this little white box right there, National Life Group, and it instantly is gonna open up my portal for me, right? When you open up your portal, you go into this little toolbox here, and you're gonna find a lot of cool things. You could go through client intelligence, form of materials, underwriting, compliance. You can even go into a lot of their training tools. So this training tab is a lot of videos on life insurance, a lot of videos on different products, a lot of videos of how to learn more about these policies, how to actually engage in these policies. So I would dive deep into that resource because it's a lot of things you could just listen into on your own time. And so if you hit illustrations, that's when it will start taking you into a live client illustration, right? When you open up the portal here, there's a few things going on. You got your home page, your producer page, your recent contacts, etc. You could always, by the way, when you're on building an illustration, you could always call this sales desk number and say, hey, I'm on an illustration right now. I need help figuring this and this out. You're going to be on wait to get a hold to someone, but they'll help you out. You know what I'm saying? So if you go to new illustration here, you want to select the state that they're in, typically Maryland for most of my clients. So let's go through some of these products. So Flex Life is the Index Universal Life. So you'll notice right here, 2019 LSW Index Universal Life. But then there's a Flex Life NL. Who knows what the NL stands for? What product is that?
New York Life.
Thank you. New York Life. Please avoid, please, by the grace of God, please avoid selecting Flex Life NL for any client that is not in New York. You will have to resubmit the entire app. So NL, New York Life. Don't select it. I'm gonna cry, you're gonna cry, we're all gonna cry, Alma's gonna cry, you're gonna have to hear again. Like, it's gonna be a whole tear fest, okay? So these are the Index Universal Life products. If you're not appointed in New York, you shouldn't even mess around with the NL, okay? So then you have other Index Universal Life products. We don't really mess around with them because we are more on the infinite banking side. We are in leveraging life insurance, etc. If you want to learn more about Submit Life, Peak Life, Survivor Life, Basic Secure, go to those training tabs. I'm not going to dive too deep into them. I would just suggest go into the training tabs. They have a training per video of, they're talking to you as an agent. This is what you can provide your client. And then you can see a client video. This is what it would provide you. And you'll learn from there. We don't really use them because, again, we're more on the infinite banking side when it comes to our conversation. So then we go into this LSW term. These are our term policies. NLG is #1 carrier for IULs. They're dropping in their terms, not because of their status, but because we have a new company known as Northern American that is amazing. Cheaper terms, same living benefits, great coverage. If you're not appointed with them, make sure to set up an appointment with Emma. She will walk you through of how to get appointed with them. Again, LSW is what we want to pick. What we don't want to pick, anyone say it? By the grace of God.
NL term. No NL
No,
term.
exactly. No NL term. The first person to do it owes me $100. That's it. That's throw it on the flap. So we're gonna dive into just a basic term. Okay. Here's a basic term policy. Your client's interested in just life insurance. They love Toya's infinite banking concept, but they got $50. So what can we do, girl, with $50? Cool. So when you open up the LSW term, this is what it's going to pop up. All of our illustrations are going to pop up like this. If you notice here, it has client information, death benefit, riders, quick views, okay? So it always starts out with the client information. When you're giving a quote, you don't have to specifically put their name unless you're going to send it to them. So then I would put Diamond Johnson, I would put, Toya Brim, etc. But if it's just a quick, like they just want to know real quick, cool. Or maybe you even did a reel that says, send me your age, I'll give you a quote. You can run the quotes here. select their gender, right? Select their gender, select their age, and say, 28-year-old male looking for coverage. This risk information, the rating class, you always leave it on standard non-tobacco if they're not smoker. Don't do anything else. If they are a smoker and they've said that, I smoke cigarettes, standard tobacco. So ask them. So what's your age? 28. Cool. Are you a smoker, non-smoker? Boom. Just keep it on standard. Don't do any of the other selections. They'll kind of throw it off. The underwriting team will let you know what they fall into. Then you go into death benefit. And when it comes to the term policies, you can figure out a term policy 2 different ways, based on how much coverage they want or how much they can afford monthly. So, example, Diamond says, hey girl, I'm looking for $300,000 of coverage. How much would that cost me? Or, hey girl, I got $50. How much coverage would that give me? Those are the 2 ways that you can funnel a term. So if she's looking for 300, you could go right there. Insert the face amount. If you notice, this dial is on face amount. You're solving for how much insurance they want. If you switch it to premium amount, that's how much she could afford on a monthly basis. So you could switch it based on what their conversation is with you. Oh, I'm looking for a $500,000 policy. Oh, I only got $100, depending on what that conversation. Cool. When you go to here, go to quick view, and this is where your quotes come in. Quotes, bada bing. Wait, let me scroll it down. So who knows what these numbers are here? A non-CFT. Who knows what those are? Anyone want to take a jab? Little jabberoo? What's
I
up?
will take a jab.
Okay, Emma, talk to me.
Is that like 10 years, 15 years, 20 years?
Mm-hmm. So term is set up for a certain amount of years. This is indicating how long that term is going to last them. But it says G, 10 years guaranteed. So the mind-blowing part about it is terms could actually last you for life. What is set up for a term amount is the premium. Okay, what I mean by that is, let's say for 10, we're looking at 10G. It's saying that the guaranteed amount for 10 years will stay at $50. So let's go down to 10G. This is the year, right? So if we go to 10, we notice for the 10 years that this policy is locked in, it was indeed $50. But look at year 11, 12, 13. These policies can actually last all the way to 121. The only thing that the term is guaranteeing is that the policy premium is guaranteed for that amount of time. In 10 years, the client can say, yes, I want to continue this policy at an increasing rate over time, or no, I would like to just lapse the policy and close it out at my 10 years. Okay, so does anyone have questions about that part? Does anyone know what this is, the ART? So ART stands for annual renewable term. It means it starts small and increases every single year. So if you go to the ART section, starts at $50, but it immediately year after year will increase. I never sell these. I never sell these. I never sell them. I never sell them. They increase very fast. And most clients are freaking out by year 3. They're like, what is going on, right? So from my professional experience, the most bang for your buck when it comes to term policies are typically the 20 and 30-year terms, right? Because for $50, you could get, right here, let me go 20 year. For $50 a month, you can get 5 more years longer, but if you notice, the shorter the amount of time, the more life insurance they'll get. 20 years, they'll get 5 extra years, but it only drops from 704 to 6. So it's an 88 decrease, 88K decrease from this, but an additional 5 years. But if we go 30 years, it's an extra 10, a significant increase. 704 minus 340, that's over 364K dropped in coverage. So 88 is a smaller gap, 5 years of time. My most sold term is a 20-year policy. It's the most, I consider it the most bang for your buck. It's really up to what your client wants at the end of the day, okay? Anyone have questions about terms?
Question.
Yes.
Why would we sell terms if they're losing face amount? Like, why do you call it more bang for your buck?
More bang for your buck because you have 5 additional years with a minimal loss of coverage. Because if you do 10, you're losing over 300. 300 is almost 3 times more than 88. So it's a time frame in which someone has enough time to convert, enough time to get covered elsewhere or, upgrade it. But it's not so quick in 10 years. People get stuff in 10 years, they're like, oh my gosh. But sometimes they'll get a 30-year term just to cover their mortgage. So terms are typically set up just for life insurance. They have living benefits. Living benefits are 60% access to their money if death, cancer, or disability happens, right? So those are terms.
Okay.
So I'm going to get into the fun part, which are IULs. Which are IULs. We go to New Illustration, pick our state, and we go to Flex Life NL. Look at y'all. Y'all ain't even paying attention.
I was about to say, why NL? I thought you said don't choose that.
Yeah, we go to Flex Life, right? Never NL because I'll have a heart attack. You customize the client information, and then you go into death benefit.
I will also have a heart attack.
Yes. Low key, high key. Living benefits activated today. No more jelly for Angela.
It's just so heartbreaking when you click NL and then you realize it, and it's like, oh my gosh. Sorry, y'all. It's just don't do it.
Don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. Perfect. So when you're in your Flex Life, you can dive into strategizing your policy. So IULs, and I'm actually dropping content on this. There's so many different ways you can strategize an IUL policy. And I'll break down really what each of these does. So these face solve type right here, let me give a little highlighter, are different ways that you could strategize the policy. So who knows what minimum death benefit maximum cash value is? What is this one?
Isn't that how you properly structure a IUL so it doesn't it doesn't lapse and then turn into like what people call a scam and you lose money in your IUL?
Mm-hmm. So this is more of the infinite banking strategy, right? So what this is saying is that my dollar amounts are minimum going to the death benefit of my life insurance policy, keeping my cost of insurance low. It's allowing me to minimize as much life insurance down to the least amount that legally is possible, while most of my money is going to maximum cash value. If you're building an IUL, you want your blue dot right here. Okay. Anyone can guess what balance DB means?
Death benefit?
Yeah, so DB is death benefit. So balanced death benefit, meaning our money is going 50-50. Here is like 25-75. Here's 50-50. Okay. Then based on target, who knows what this one is?
Isn't your target premium your what you want to put in for the whole year?
Mm-hmm.
Or-
Most of our money is going to a targeted premium. This is more life insurance focus. They want a little cash value. They don't really care if it's whole life or this or that. This one operates a lot like whole life. It's more life insurance focused. Okay. So then when we go into this strategy here, the specific amount, when you hit minimum death benefit, maximum cash value, and I'll do that now because we're going to focus on these types of policies today. It will generate a number for you in this amount. It will automatically generate that. You don't have to fill it in. From through 1 through M. Who knows what M is in this example? M stands for maturity. So when it matures, meaning for the whole policy. So you can have coverage from year 1 to the maturity of the policy, meaning 121. Then you can actually, another option that comes up is here, is increasing. It's the death benefit. The death benefit can stay level, meaning the cost of insurance is the same throughout the entire year of the policy. Level, meaning the life insurance or cost of insurance is just level. Increasing means the cost of insurance would increase over time, right? We put it on increasing because when you put on increasing, you create a net death benefit that allows your beneficiary to get access to your life insurance plus your cash value. What kind of policies don't give access? What kind of policies would describe the life insurance company keeping your cash value and giving your beneficiary the life insurance? What kind of policy does that? Diamond?
I think so is that kind of like the difference between like the whole life and universal?
Perfect.
Okay.
The whole life policies do that. When money is put into a whole life, the company will keep the cash value that you've owned in the account and give your client's beneficiary the life insurance. Here we have a net death benefit. The net is the net of both, right? So they'll get both in that account. Typically, when you're building an index universal life policy that is structured more towards infinite banking and max funding, you do want to put it on increasing so that they have access to leverage that net death benefit when they pull their money out. So you could always change it. Like let's say they want to level out their life insurance at 65 years old. Can anyone take a guess as to why someone would level out insurance at 65?
Retirement age?
Yeah, they're retiring. No more income is coming in. They're older in age, but if their policy cost of insurance is continuing without income, it's going to eat itself up, right? But they're 65, no more income. They're just going to level it out. Boom. So that's more of a deeper conversation. But right now, if you're just building a basic conversation with someone on IG and you're showing them this, you leave the blue dot, you put it on increasing. Then you go from premium amount and you go to monthly. And let's say our client wants to put away $500. Again, what is M? Anyone? M.
Maturity.
Maturity. So you could decide how long they pay it for. So if Alma tells me, hey, I'm looking to retire at 65, hey, I'm looking to retire at 35, hey, I'm looking to do this, that's when you want to stop payments. But clients ideally can stop payments at year 10 as well. Okay. So then you boom. Then you don't play with anything else really when it's just a basic policy. So then you go to quick view. It'll load up the quick view, and then it gives you what most of you guys see here on your appointments is this page. So most people have seen these most of the time. So most of you guys should know these little questions here. So what's our modal premium? It's on this, yeah.
Is how much they're paying
Mm.
monthly.
Oh.
Amen. It's monthly. Trick question. It was on the screen. It's a monthly. Cool. But what do we have in policies that no whole life policy provides when it comes to payments?
People can pay like a minimum.
Like
They
for-
don't have to pay the whole 500.
Exactly. Minimum payments, maximum payments, pause on payments. So usually I say, well, Toya, you decided 500 a month, perfect. You are going to get life insurance with your policy. You'll have a little over $102,000 of life insurance. But Toya, the last thing I want you to think about is that you're paying $500 for life insurance. I'll actually show you how much of that money goes towards life insurance and how much actually is growing in the S&P 500. Fair enough? Perfect. Because this is the thing. If you go from 500 and then you show the screen of policy, the only thing they're thinking about is why am I paying $500 for life insurance? So you just want to nip that conversation out right away. I always say that you're paying 500. This is how much life insurance you have. The last thing I want you to walk away with is thinking that you're paying $500 for life insurance, because you're not. There's a smaller fee, right? So if you want to figure out their minimum, you go here. This is their minimum policy for the year. So we always have to do math and break it down to monthly if you're talking to a client in monthly numbers or annual numbers. It's really up to you. So can someone do 957 divided by 12 and shout out our minimum payment?
$79.76.
79. Cool. So this death benefit protection, $79 is their minimum payment. It's pretty much just providing life insurance. So if the client is only putting away $79, they're not going to see the growth that they want when we show them the numbers later, because the numbers later are based on 6,000, which is the 500 monthly. But what I tell my clients is, hey, you're putting away 500 monthly, but Christmas is around the corner. What if you're spending this money on a trip to Aspen, some gifts? If you want to keep your policy alive, if you just make a minimum payment of $80, you'll keep your policy alive and open. It's not going to gain a lot of cash, but it'll cover cost of life insurance for that month. Okay. Who knows what the target premium is here? Anyone? So target premium is the suggested minimum amount. So this is the minimum amount legally possible, and this is the minimum amount suggested by the company to not only keep life insurance alive, but keep a little cash value growing. So this is Nlg's selection. So can anyone do the math on this one?
$142.
So this is Nlg's suggestion, 142. This is a minimum that will keep both life insurance and the cash value in a good fluctuation. Okay. Who knows what MEC stands for? Almost said it.
Modified.
Is it a modified endowment contract?
Yes, ma'am. Modified endowment contract. Who regulates the MEC?
The IRS,
What does that mean?
they can be taxed.
It will get taxed. So if our client puts 1 cent over $7,000 and $7,000 and two, they're gonna get taxed on all their money in their account. So their maximum
583.
583. Thank you. They could put up to 583 in this example. Okay. So let's say my client says, Ray, I want to increase my window. I want to add more than $83. I want to open up my maximum. The only way to open up your maximum, open up your MEC, is by adding more insurance. So if the IRS says, if you have a bigger window of life insurance, we could add more of a window. So if you go to your death benefit, you can add additional coverage to open up that window. You switch your strategy, you have to go through minimum maximum strategy, go back and press none. Then what it will do is it will take your original face amount that we just had on the last screen. And now we're adding. You have to minimum add 2,500. Press quick view. And it opened the MEC a little bit more, right? 8, 1, 8, 5. So now the MEC is open to 726 on a monthly basis. But you have to be careful. Say that again?
Question. So
Yeah.
like, even though the MEC is open, there's minimum payments for like the life insurance is still like 79 something, right?
No, everything changes. The monthly stays the same, but the minimum maximum fluctuates. The minimum went up to $88. So instead of 79, it went to 88. This went from 583 up to 7 something that we just saw. You have to be careful because if the moment you see lapse year, it's a red flag. Lapse year means the policy would eat itself and close at 64 years old. So if you're ever playing around with MEC and your minimum that you can add onto the policy is 2,500 and it lapses, it's not a possibility for our client. The reason it's not a possibility for our client is because our client is already 45 years old. This client is too old to be stopping payments too soon and still have a big window, right? Because we have the policy stopping at 10 years old, or yeah. So anyhow, back to our scheduled program. Does anyone have questions so far before I go into values?
So for the if you increase the MEC, so when you do that, how much, if you say you want to do that, then how much time do you have or would the client have to do that? Because I had to do it and I was like surprised that I'm still like in the range to do it. So I was like, I wonder how long you could like,
After approval or like during this process?
No, like after approval and you've already been paying your premiums.
You can add it at any time because it's a rider on your policy.
Gotcha. Okay.
So you guys don't know, a rider is just an additional feature on your policy to customize it further to your needs. So you can add a rider at any time. Certain riders you can add at any time. That one you can. You can add.
Okay. All right.
Any other questions before I dive into the values? No, very simple. Simple. So Diamond, you've been on a lot of appointments. I'm gonna be your highlighter, which is my voice. And let's say I'm this 45-year-old male looking at this policy and you're explaining it to me. Can you give me the gist of this info?
Okay. So, Ray, it looks like here our model premium is going to be $500, which that can be broken down monthly. And that's going to give you a net death benefit of $102,026. And then we're going to go into our death benefit protection premium. This is what NLG recommends. This is the minimum amount that you're going to have to pay yearly in order to satisfy the cost of your life insurance, as well as the cost of some investment in the S&P 500. Then we're going to go over to our MEC premium. So MEC stands for Modified Endowment Contract. This number here is regulated by the IRS. This is the max amount of additional money that you are able to put into your policy. So the max monthly that you would be able to do is $583.
Perfect. So the only thing is the target is NLGs.
Oh, okay, I got that part wrong. Okay,
This one is just the minimum to keep the policy open.
that's just the cost of insurance, basically.
Yep.
You wouldn't be investing anything into the S&P index. Okay, so I got those backwards. Gotcha.
Good job, darling. But it'd be a CFT in no time.
Yes.
That's so nice.
Okay. Tabby, run it up. Tabitha, Jewel, are you there? See your little hand. Hello, hello. Emma, you want to give it a shot?
Sure.
Okay. Let's go. Let's do it.
All right, Ray. So here we have your model premium, which is the premium that you're going to pay for your monthly cost for the insurance. And
Okay.
please do not think that $500 is going towards your insurance. Hold on. Yeah, $500 isn't going towards your insurance. A small portion of that is your cost of insurance. The rest of that is going to be building cash value in the S&P 500. So with this, you are going to, okay.
You're going to have a minimum payment.
Okay, you're going to have a minimum payment of $80, which is your death benefit premium, protection premium. Your minimum payment is $80. And your MEC premium is the maximum amount that you can pay yearly into this policy. MEC stands for Modified Endowment Contract, and this number is regulated by the IRS. If you pay any more than $583 a month, you will be taxed, and we do not want that to happen. So keep in mind that your max that you can pay towards your policy a month is $583.
Oh, drops mic. Closes deal. Good job, girl.
Good job, Mama.
Perfect.
Thanks.
Job, girl.
So
Thank
now
you,
we're
thank
going to
you.
get into the values. Right. So just for training purposes, not that you got to go into this with client, but everyone knows policy year is how old the policy is, age is how old the client is, plan premiums, how much that 500 for the year is 6,000, plan premium, plan payments is how much they would pay for the year, accumulated value is how much they built into their account, surrender value is how much they have access from that account, and net death benefit is a combination of life insurance plus accumulated value. Okay.
Can you repeat that for net death benefit? It's what?
It's a combination of their life insurance policy plus their accumulated value. So usually what I inform people is perfect. And I'll remind them again. So now you know about your payment options. You have a minimum payment, a maximum payment, and an on-track payment. So I don't want you to think, Emma, that $500 is just going to life insurance. Some of it goes to life insurance, some of it is going to the S&P 500. So the best way we can break that down, and I just zoom in and just show these two columns, because there's so many columns that if you don't zoom in, you'll have like them looking around. So I usually just zoom in right here. So I say, so this plan premium, Emma, let me darken this. Plan premium is how much my client has paid for the year. If they make a $500 payment every single year, that's $6,000 for the year, right? This accumulated value is how much you've earned in your account for the year. So if we want to find out the cost of insurance, we'll get that $6,000, how much you paid, and subtract how much you made. 6,000 minus the numbers here. That equals, the difference on that is $833. This is your cost of insurance for the year. It's only $69 on a monthly basis. You're paying $69 in insurance fees for that $100,000 policy, but you're making a $500 payment. If you're making $500 payments to National Life Group and 69 of it goes to cost of insurance, that just means that the rest of your $431 is growing at 10%, building up value for you. And then I usually ask them, does that make sense?
How do you know it's growing at 10%?
Because this illustration is based off of 6 to 10%. Our cap is 10 with Nlg. Anyone have questions about cost of insurance right here?
I have a question.
Yeah.
So when you were saying that the cap and I had heard a couple times you saying the 10%, and I would always just think you're just rounding up, because in the presentation we always say 9% as the cap for growth. So you're saying specifically with NLG it's 10%.
You could get up to 9.75% in NLG. Anaco gives 13.2% longer surrender period.
Okay, so different carriers kind of sometimes will have different things. Okay.
And NLG has a shorter surrender period of 10 years. NLG has a longer one, but more higher ceiling.
Okay.
And they actually, I mean, that's a whole other conversation, but they have a 50-50 strategy too, which like 50% of your money could go into uncapped, seeing all the market growth, and some of it will be in a cap, but that's a whole other conversation. So yes, each company is not the same.
Gotcha.
Okay, so that's how you break down cost of insurance. Who wants to give this part a go? All right, Emma, great. I'm so glad you volunteered. So happy to see your eyes staring at me through the screen here.
Okay, sorry, I was saying goodnight to my daughter, but and Amani said goodnight to the team.
Good night.
Good night.
So I don't know where to start. I'm sorry.
So you just let them know. Now we're gonna figure out your cost of insurance.
Okay. All right. So Ray, now we are going to figure out the cost of your insurance. So if you look at the planned premium column and the accumulated value column, you're going to subtract the accumulated value from the planned premium.
What is the plan?
What'd you say?
What is
Okay.
this?
The planned premium is the $500 a month that you are paying, and so it equals out to $6,000 a year.
Yes, and what is this?
The accumulated value, I don't know,
It's how much you earned in your account.
Okay, how much you've earned in your account. Okay.
Perfect.
All right.
Continue.
So if you subtract the accumulated value from the planned premium, that equals out to $833 a year, which is only $69 a month. So you're paying $69 a month in insurance fees, and the rest of your money, which is $431, is growing cash value, and is at a 10% rate in the S&P 500.
Oh, easy peasy. So we're about to wrap up, so I'll just give this a go. So accumulated value is how much you have in your account. Surrender value is how much you have access to. you have limited access to your money in the first 10 years of your policy. If you notice on year 11, these two accounts equal each other, you have full access to your money. So Alma, let's say you wanted to pull out money before then, which is 100% applicable, right? And we have this little net death benefit, which is the combination of life insurance plus cash value. So let's just say, this is year 1, 2, 3, and 4. Let's say on year 4, you decided to pull out money. Give me a call. You're like, hey, Ray, I need to pull out $10,000. I got a business deal going on. Well, you can actually pull out your money 2 different ways. You can pull it out the smart way and the smarter way. Okay, the smart way is you can pull out this $10,000 right from your surrender value. You'll pay a 0.5 interest rate because it is before the 10-year surrender period. This account will then drop negative 10K, which is 10,584, and will continue to grow and compound afterwards. You have your 10K in your pocket. You're good to go. You made your business deal. That's the smart way to pull out the money. Then there's a smarter way to pull out your money. Pulling out the 20K. The smarter way to pull out your $20,000 or your $10,000, we said, right? 10. The smarter way to pull out your $10,000 is to deduct it as a loan, a borrowing loan from your life insurance policy, right? That will bring this account down 10K, which is we'll bring it out 10K. But what's happening here, Alma?
Your debt. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Why is that so important? What's happening here?
So your death benefit is going to be reduced.
Yeah, but what's not reduced?
Your surrender value.
Perfect. So if your client doesn't know what to say, direct them to what to say, right? Right when I circled it, what did she say? She said what I wanted her to say. And then I say, well, that's so important, Emma, because your 20K is still going to compound year after year as if it never left. And then you just wait and let them go ooh and on, ask their questions, right? So then they'll ask questions like, do you have to pay it back? What's the interest rate? It's 0.5. No, you don't have to pay it back. But right here is when I usually tell them this concept is known as infinite banking.
So Ray, I have a question. So when they say a client does want to do this, right? When they contact the insurance company, they have to let the insurance company know that I want to pull this money from my death benefit.
They have to make a request, yes.
Okay.
So the smart
And
way.
Ray, I'm sorry.
Oh, go for it.
And so they could only withdraw or take out an amount that does not exceed their surrender value?
Yes, they're still limited to this, but how they're pulling it out is out of their life insurance.
Okay.
So the smarter way is what infinite banking actually is. This policy is not known as infinite banking. IULs are not infinite banking. NLG is not infinite banking. Infinite banking is the second way to pull out your money. So that's why I always say there's a smart way and a smarter way. This is known as infinite banking. And then I stop and I ask them, have you ever heard of this before? It will gauge where they're at in the conversation because people think infinite banking is a product. It's not a product. Infinite banking is a concept in which you're accessing your money. It is not a product. IULs are not infinite banking. Whole life products are not infinite banking. It's simply the concept in which you're accessing your money. And the faster you get that in their head and in y'all's head, the better conversations you're going to have. Because you could do infinite banking through whole life as well. And you're going to be shocked when someone gets on a call and you're saying that an IUL product is infinite banking. No. It's a concept. So when I say smart way and smarter way, the smart way is just withdrawing your money. The smarter way is what is known as infinite banking. It's a concept. Any questions? Ella, you look very intrigued.
Because, girl, you are breaking it down. I'm like, okay. making it easy to understand. You're just doing good.
She's definitely in her bag tonight.
The
Like,
bag tonight.
Yeah. On
Hey,
it.
I love that for me. I love that for us. Okay, bet. So as we wrap up, because I do want to finish at 10 out of respect for y'all's time. So then I literally write it out, right, Diamond? I think you've seen me do this. Toya, you've seen me do this. Amar's seen me do that. I write it out, infinite banking. And then I stop and I ask, have you ever heard of this before? Yeah, I've heard it on TikTok, or yeah, that's why I hit up Toya, boom, boom, boom. So I let them know this is infinite banking. This here is the concept of infinite banking. Then what I'll do, because I am recording this Zoom and I'll drop it in the chat so that we can all dissect it further, and let them know. So Toya, you are covered for life in this policy, but guess what, girl? You don't have to pay for life, right? You don't have to pay that monthly payment for life. We stopped your payments at 10 years. So if you notice here, your payments, all of a sudden they drop to zeros. And then I asked my client, but what happens to your policy cash value? And they'll say, it still grows. And then I say, exactly. Right? And then everyone say, exactly. You too, Tracy.
Exactly.
Tracy out there working out. Love it, love it, love it.
Get on my nerves, Tracy. You always showing off working out.
I know her little gym at the new apartment, girl.
Yes. Get on my nerves. I'm hating.
I love it. I love it, Tracy.
Yeah.
Come to work out with me. Come on.
Need it. I need it for sure. I got you. So then at that point, I do the 10 years. And then if they have spoken about retirement, I'll fast forward to 65 right quick and say, well, Tabby, at 65 years old, you'll notice you haven't made a payment in over 10 years. Your money still had compound throughout those years. You'll have $127,000 tax-free access for retirement. And then I just zoom out, scroll up, and I ask them, do you have any questions? And then they're gonna let you know what to recover, what to recap, what the questions are, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, so tonight's training was a little bit more in depth, right? But it is recorded for your viewing and enjoyment. Most client questions we can't plan for until you actually see them on the field. But do you guys have any questions?
No questions that I can think of off the top of my head, but I'm grateful for the training. It was very, very in depth and slow. And that's how my brain works. Slow. So it was good. Thank you.
Yes. Nice training, Ray.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
I concur.
Okay.
Thank you, Ray.
Oh, I love y'all.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Everything was great. Loved how you broke everything down. And yeah, this is going to be a game changer.
Thank you. So I'll stop the recording.